and welcome back for another episode of Our Journeys. We are coming in hot on some action between Boz Hawk and our Bravington running Halalu. It's a close match. Both have a fistful of cards. Boz Hawk is a bit on the back foot, does have Red Mountain down, so his expensive cards are going to come down cheap. He is, and we are pretty much at a tied game. Bromington definitely has some weaponry. We probably will see the Cradle Crush come down after, let's see, wait. He needs to get down to 10. All right, yeah, he'll have to hit with both the cards there to break the rune to get her to be a 4/3 so that when he crushes in the Shadow Lane, he does not kill her. And maybe he's considering Morkel Gatekeeping as well. Oh, you know what? If he gavels, she's invincible. And I think that, like, so he could gavel her. Well, he could also gavel... I don't know. I think Morgul Gatekeeper to trigger... Morgul Gatekeeper giving 2 to the skooma dude over here, the skooma underboss. So that he can break... No, he wouldn't break the rune. That's 12, Jesse, you goober. He would have to do Morgul Gatekeeper and gavel, which is pretty much all of his reach right now. Okay, he's not going to go that route. All it would do is buy 2 extra damage from his initiate... Oh, he is going to sacrifice her. Okay. Interesting.
Close ranks, let nothing through.
Did not want to break that rune. Perhaps it's been a prophecy game thus far. We did come in more or less in the middle of it. We will see. Ooh. Oh, wow. Yep. Greatly did... Well, actually, no. I guess Red Mountain didn't really... I mean, it did matter. He still has 2 magic to work with. It won't matter unless he plays another card. And he looks like he is going to, and so he got some value out of Red Mountain with the giant mushrooms in the valley. And Mournhold, that does... Oh, boy. Oh, another... if he could... Oh, you know, he can Fear Totem. He can Fear Totem, and he can hit. And Fear Totem his own Cradle Crush. And I think that's what he might do. Fear Totem that Cradle Crush. Yes! Come back. Knock him down again. Woohoo! And probably I'm thinking Tyr or Varen.
Here we make our stand.
Goes for Tyr. Have no fear, Tyr is here. And Boz Hawk, unless he's got a Daddy
Come to me.
And he does! The game just continues to get crazier and crazier.
They are no challenge for the Keshi.
Doesn't really have an answer for that. Interesting that he went... Oh, I think he was thinking... I don't know. What has he got? He's got 8, he's got 10, 12. It's not enough. He can give Dagoth -2. I thought he might play Kitty over here so he could hit him with the gavel for 4. And then, yeah, he could have killed him with Drain Blood.
Preparations have been made. We'll see how they like someone who fights back.
And we still might see Drain Blood come down. That's... Oh, man, this is so rough. The one card, really, that Boz Hook had... It was either he was resigned to his fate, how fast he traded in that Mournhold. He was either resigned to his fate or he had Daddy. That was kind of the only way you could interpret that. Obviously, you get the turd muffins out there that rope, but and kind of throw your metrics off, or throw your gauge off. But usually, you can tell how good of a play your opponent's is going to make. Wait, what? Oh, he did it to himself. Oh, Bromington. Oh. I had a few options on who to spectate, but I wanted to do Bromington again for 2 reasons. One, I want to see the bounce back, but also to show you all, like, this is what you got to do. Like I said, it's one thing to lose, it's another thing. I mean, now, he may have lost that last game anyway, whether he had that misplay at the end or not, but
I'm sure I don't have any
that's even harder because you know you had control of it. Like I said, I was talking a bit, so I won't be able to see exactly. I think he meant to do... I think he meant to do the drain blood, but he accidentally chose the creature that he wanted to sacrifice. And so instead of Dagoth hitting for essentially 4, he ended up hitting for 8, and I think he would have hit for 2. Again, the opponent might have had the win anyway, but all Bromington knows is it was a hard loss. And I'm not doing that to rub this in. This is how you bounce back. You go, I lost, whether it was because of RNG or because I made a mistake, hiccup. We all make those mistakes. Bromington's back in it, and hoping to see a victory here, just to kind of show this is how you climb. And it's instructive for me as well, or it's me talking to myself, preaching to the choir, as it were, because, you know, after a game like that, I probably would have turned the game off for about an hour or so, just because I would have been just so disappointed with myself. I've had some misplays where I've missed lethal. Now, of course, that's not what happened with Bromington. He just had the misplay, didn't miss lethal necessarily. But I've done that, and I can only stand it so much. This for sure is going to herald in a piercing javelin. 2/5 kitty is something you definitely don't want to have stick. So the Turk, the necromancer. No doubt we will see some necromancy shenanigans here. But Thieves' Den it's kind of refreshing to see. You don't really see that in
I am sworn
Empire
to
too often. And Lydia, you don't get to see her too often. I really wish, I mean, almost Loyal House Carl, I feel like should have been like, this card just, I don't know. No offense to, because I guarantee you I could not create art like this, but just in the scope of all things, and knowing that Lydia, I mean, I know she's, you know, a lot of times in the game in Skyrim, she's not all that fantastic. You know, she gets in the way, or she gets lost, or you can't find her. I'm trying to find her right now in my Argyle playthrough.
And he will have it.
But, you know, she kind of has a very static pose. It's kind of like, it's a drawing that I would do. What I'd want to see with Lydia is more of a, especially if she's in that setting, it looks like she's in an exploration type setting. I'd want to see her kind of in an action pose, like she's going in, almost like Lyra's Titanborn. I think that's her name. Oh, the douche comes down in a timely fashion. Be interesting to see, though. Yeah, I think he's got to go with that route. Or, no, yeah, because Lydia was able to pilfer, there is no trade Bromington can make that will suffice. He is going to have to trade them both in. Not get the pilfer on his own, kitty. And he's going to lose both his douches. His other remaining douches. The douches.
They make it too easy.
Just has to hope that the Turk does not have removal for that douche, because otherwise... Or that. Now he loses... Those are a driving force for a deck like this. Although I will say, you know, from what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing a ton of more pilfer. There's the drained blood again. Yeah, see, I think... Yeah, he meant to use it and then sacrifice the 2/1, and instead use it on the 2/1. I've done that almost that exact same thing. And for me, shame concede is the thing, especially on something like that where I know that's going to let my opponent win the next turn. I probably shouldn't, you know, the only time I should ever be really conceding, well, if you know you lost, you know, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another, I think. For me, personally, I don't care if my opponent concedes at any point in the match. If he's unable to play or unwilling to continue playing, I've got no gripes with that. Razzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle.
I smell blood on the way.
Wow, alright, well.
I do not fear death.
That Fighters Guild always seems to know when to stick his big Argonian nose in the wrong places. It's always, you know, the opponent plays like their big cards, you're like, alright, cool, at least I get a try. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. And then no matter what you do, you either lose Razum to it. Actually, if you're gonna lose Razum either way, if you know you gotta trade, I would just say go ahead and trade him into the Fighters Guild, because at least your 5/4 survives the trade with Garzog, Doggy, Durzog the good dog, Dog, Gob Dog. Gerzog the Gobdog. There we
I
go.
beseech the gods. Hail, friend.
Hey, the Turk. Give him a little bit of time. He's thinking things through. You put down the Fighters Guild. It's he's a bit of a yeah. Bromington is thinking it through. He's not BMing. Well, actually, yeah, I guess he can't really. He wouldn't get any value from Raz if he plays the next turn. Interesting, he chose to trade there anyway. Because if the Fighters Guild traded with the 3-2, he gets a favorable trade with the dog. And if he makes the trade that he would have expected.
I feel alive.
Okay. Good call, though. He's seeing... That's hard. That's a hard call.
We stand ready.
Wow! Oh, boy. What a combination that is. And that is... Okay, well, pings are helpful. Draw first. Oh! Does not choose to take the ward off the kitty. Can't razz him and Crusader's Assault at the same time, unfortunately, on this turn. I mean, he's... Let's see... 14. I mean, he is 2 points away from death next turn with an 8/8 kitty on the board. It's looking pretty rough for Bromington. He is having one of those days, is how I would put it. It is just one of those days. But my main point, really, ultimately was, even after a rough loss, immediately jump back in, is going, hey, I'm at it again. And I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up the game, picks up and plays again. What is the date today? Where? I don't even know. We're still towards the beginning of the month, so a lot of people are trying. We're getting that bottleneck. You got a lot of people, I would say, all of your mid-tier. You got all your typical legendary folks have probably already made their push, but right now you got a lot of. Okay, so Crusader's Assault gets the trade there. That big kitty though. Oh no! Wow, the Turk. Gotta give props where props are due. This has been a wacky combination of cards. It wasn't anything close to a typical Empire. So, I mean, I would say most people would have been thrown off by this presentation. Like, I would not have expected. I don't think I've ever seen in a constructed game. I don't think I've seen Pure Blood Elder, Burglar, Master of Thieves, and Lion Guard. We can leave out Lion Guard and Master of Thieves. Like, Pilfer and Ramp just aren't usually a thing, because Pilfer is antithetical. Pilfer is, in order to get the value, you have to hit the face. Bromington being a good sport. Hopefully the Turk can just finish it off quickly.
A hard-fought victory.
All three cards are getting done. And there she goes. Ooh. All right, and we managed to catch Time Twist NPO at the start of his turn. I don't know, is this a rematch from the last game? I remember Time Twist playing against somebody, and I remember El Turbo playing against somebody. No, I think El Turbo was playing against Eros. I think that's the matchup. And if you remember, I believe in that match, El Turbo was able to prevail. And so we'll see if Time Twist, who is pretty much playing a deck very similar, if not the exact one that Eros was playing, the support spell sword. And Eros said he was playing it for Time Twist. I don't know if he was doing it to give him feedback on how well the deck performed. And I don't remember if he lost to El Turbo with that or with the monk, because he played. I think he did support mage, monk, and spell sword before he went to his Nyx Ox assassin. Hey, Thaden or Thadden. I'm not really sure how you pronounce that. Thadon. I did actually just craft or make I don't even know what to call them. I essentially put one of the Elder Scrolls, like one of the musical tracks from the game. I play that under a premium card and make it like a visual music player kind of thing. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why I brought it up. Anyway, but I did him because it's kind of snazzy. He looks like a goofball. I don't know if he's supposed to be formidable or whatever, but just the pose he's in looks like he's kind of tripping on himself. He's got his little I don't know, dress thing there. I don't know if he's supposed to be awesome or just kind of a goof, but I don't know, he looked kind of snazzy. He looked like he's having a good time. You know, dance like no one's watching. Unfortunately for him, everybody's watching.
Are you listening to me?
And he's right next to Open Flame, so I guess if he had a flowing gown, it wouldn't really work out all that well, but I don't know, it looks like he's about to trip and just face plant on those candles. I don't know, I don't think candles would actually... What? What is all this? Defensive Bruma as a Theronid action is pretty scary. Pretty scary indeed. But yeah, both, as I mentioned before, both top 10. I have to remind myself to get the lay of the land. So Time Twist in the top 100 already. That's what I'm saying. You know, the folks that typically make it, you know, that are able to just kind of push through, they're already there. And right now it's kind of the middle of the pack, where I would be at the bottom of, you know, maybe if there's like 3 tiers of the middle, you got your mid players. I'm probably in the top of the bottom or lower of the 2/3. So I'd be right in that mix too, and bottlenecking at ranks 4 and 5. So that's what we're seeing, I think, from some of our other players. And then, of course, here at the top, we get to see the decks and the plays of people who are just able to consistently dominate in this game. It always amazes me. I remember the very first time I had to acknowledge that card games, now not particularly Legends or like Magic or anything, but like cards, like poker. I know I've talked about this before, but it really, I couldn't imagine how a game that is so dependent on luck, how...
The sigil stone is mine.
Interesting. What is El Turbo running here? Because this is not... Is this a invade list? I guess it is. It's... Yeah, I can't... I thought maybe he had a random card in there for some reason, but El Turbo is actually running an invade list. And if I sound sad, it's because I am sad. And there he's already found his 0 cost. So yeah, Time Twist is definitely up against it right now. And he's got nothing in his hand. Sorry, 5th Legion trainer, you're fantastic a lot of the times, but right now you are an unwelcome sight. Maybe Lunar Sway? Oh, he can't break a rune. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to trigger the forward camp. He needs that draw, but he can't get in. He can't. He's 9 points away from 8 points from 8 plus 13 points away from getting into value. Meanwhile, El Turbo in that lane, I think it's just a matter of time for Time Twist. Unless he's got something up his sleeve, unless he's got some way to turn this around,
We fight for the glory
I don't think, because El Turbo's going to continue to draw it, and as long as he can do that, he's just gonna...
Oh, now you upset me.
I mean, Cygnus kind of helps, but not... I mean, with Divine Fervor, and okay, all right, those are that's a decent combo right there. 5th Legion, Cygnus, Defensive Bruma. Oh, wait. Doesn't have enough for all of them. So just defense.
Ready to move out.
Okay. I mean, just like that, he's got a little something cooking here. Definitely protecting his face. Still can't make that trade. Still going to have a hard time. And El Turbo continuing to get value from Thadon, who is dancing up a storm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Could overdraw if Time Twist can just get in on that face.
I sense great power in you.
Alright, so this is a... I don't know. I mean, it is obviously an invade deck, but it's not a heavy reliance. Maybe, dare I say it, maybe... I don't know, I feel dirty saying it. But perhaps, if there was a way for invade to healthily coexist in this game, it would be with a deck like this, where it's part of it. It's kind of like expertise. You may only have what, 15, 18 cards of expertise in a 75 card deck? Because you can't go too heavy on that mechanic. So maybe this is kind of, you know, mixing it up just enough. Like I said, it still feels dirty to say. But yeah, I think time twist. Oh, what's his dragon aspect? 3. That is not gonna.
Mistakes were made.
Apologies.
And that's the appropriate response. So El Turbo, at least, even though he's playing Invade, he has the courtesy. That's when you can, like, for me anyway, that's when I say, if somebody says I made a mistake, I say I'm sorry, because even though the emote is I'm sorry, it's me saying I'm sorry, because I genuinely mean that. You know, like I said, don't apologize if you don't mean it. If somebody, you know, is like, oh, I'm sorry, and then they, like, play a bunch of RNG nonsense and win the game, like, I don't, that's not a genuine apology. You're not sorry you did it, otherwise you wouldn't have done it. The sorry is, I don't want to win a game because my opponent misplayed. Like, I never want that to be the case. I want them to play their best, me to play at my best, and see who comes out on top, and say good game. So if my opponent says, I made a mistake, whether I can see it or not, I'll be like, I'm sorry. Because I feel bad. I know how that feels when you make a mistake. Oh, Turbo, you seem like a great guy, but, I cannot condone.
Kill them all!
Cannot condone your chosen deck. This is abominable. And it's the second time in as many sessions as we've seen Invade get out of control. I mean, the only thing I can say is at least it was not wholly on the back of Invade. He got himself in a pretty good position as he began invading, and then, yeah, it's been a nightmare for Time Twist since.
Wait for him!
A taste of your demon's power.
For old memories.
He will, as of now, I think, survive. No, he won't. Wait.
You're going to
Yeah, he'll survive one more turn. Now, Turbo is out of Magicka, so I don't know what I was thinking could happen.
Greetings, citizen. The victory is yours.
Yeah. Well fought, Time Twist. Well fought. So it's been a rough day. Rough day for our champions, our friends. Eros is playing a Telvanni. I'm guessing it's a singleton Telvanni. Nothing right here to make me think otherwise.
I am ready to join the circle.
And he may be one of the first. Oh, AL Guardian. Yeah, he's got all the stuffs. Feels dirty for our first win to come on the back of a Telvanni, singleton or not. But hey, you know, is this the first win of the session? I think it may be. I think we started off with Bromington, which we revisited. And we had Time Twist. I feel like we had a J Shades, maybe? Ah, well. Goodness gracious. I'm focused in the now. I'm in the present, you know? Isn't that what it's called? Being present? I'm present. I just... When the present is the past, I forget about it, because I'm in the present.
A little distraction might prove useful.
Oh no! Poor Thieves Guild. He's so puny as it is, and he doesn't even get to hit for his 1 point of damage. This is crappy. Why'd you pick on me? So Brynjolf more than likely is gonna get dead.
Behold my power.
Too soon for the Guardians. What Eros needed right there, and the only thing that really Jinver could have been punished by is a Viper. But there is no... And that probably is a product of this being... what I'm guessing is a singleton. Let's take a look. I don't know if we're going to see it. 63.
We must count on our wits.
9, that's 72. Was 14 all actions in the discard pile? Yeah, no, Siege, there we go. That confirms it. Yeah, singleton. For sure. Did he play nothing but actions up to this point? No, okay, we got Galen. Why did it say that was weird? What was I looking at? I don't know. but 6. So 72 and 6, 78-ish, I think, is the count.
Approach and be recognized.
Okay. I really wish all decks could play like Telvanni. There's just such a wide range of versatility on them. Lots of rallies. Poof. By Mayross, I am hoping to goodness that it's not another aspect waiting in the wings. Good news for him, though. Between Siege, Forces of Destruction. Do not be fooled, that is. Oh, he didn't... He drew it at just the wrong time. He wanted... Yeah. He wanted to draw forces. That's what he wanted to have happen. Mushroom Tower, though. That's great. Mummified, not a bad action. I think that's 2 of 2 prophecies for Jinver. I was about to say 3, but I can count, and Jinver just sees the writing on the wall, and we do get our first win of the day. Fluffy Fries 99, have not get to see him for a while. Happy to see him here. And he's got an amulet down. Oh, apparently I caught one of the least spectacular sieges. Oh.
You trusted me.
Oh, never mind. Hey, Rod, in case you didn't see, he said you should see some of these sieges that made me want to uninstall the game. That's a scathing indictment. I do think we might see a concede from Omaha. Now, see, there's a name I can pronounce, and I even know what he's doing. He's probably from Omaha. We've got Omaha. Okay, so yeah, Omaha running a Spell Sword Dragons. Interesting to see if he made it all the way up to the tower with this deck. But running short on cards, I mean, it's got some beefy critters over there to be sure. I mean, both these guys have a ton of health, so if they both stick in it, if there's no concession, it's going to be a long battle. But, oh my... Wait a minute, whoa, what did I miss?
I smell the stench of the living.
He must have a ton of Grave Vipers in his discard pile. Yep, look at that. Grave Vipers. He got... I guess he used Midnight Burial for that, so...
Grievous!
And then he's going to Grave Viper again. I think. Nope, okay. Getting some reassurance. Omaha definitely looks like he is going to capitulate or fall to the furious ferocity of Fluffy Fries 99. I don't think I've ever seen Grave Viper Brigand summon that many cards before. That's brilliant. We figured Midnight Burial puts 2, right? Because you can sacrifice the card, so every time he could just chuck 2 Grave Vipers into the graveyard. That's brilliant, really. Fluffy Fries. That's great. So somebody else may have thought of that and played it. I apologize. I don't think I've ever seen it, and it really is responsible for him being able to continue to make this push. Because otherwise, I think he'd be down to 4 cards right now. I mean, granted, his board's formidable. He's not in any danger of running low, but Omaha is in the throes of death. And with Miraxia, throwing out left and right removal. Chiseling down the board and does seem to have staved off lethal, but we know Mirac is going to just pull that last... Well, of course he's not going to outrun Destiny. It's a wall, Mirac. It's a word wall. It's not going anywhere. Silly Mirac. Good job. What's up, Fluffy Fries? Tell you what, like I said, I don't get to see Fluffy Fries very often.
Preparations have been made.
So I want to take... What was I saying? I was saying something amazing.
Take care of business.
Something amazing. Oh, yeah, because I don't get to see Fluffy Fries very often, so I figured I'd go ahead and spectate him again. Just a reminder, Eros NPO is on Twitch. and he plays regularly and often for good stretches of time. Pretty much if he's not working, I think he is playing. So if you want to get your fix, your TESL fix, and you want to see some high-level games and be able to interact, he has great interaction with his channel. He gets some good-natured ribbing from some friends, but also if you were to show up and say, hey, you know, could you run this deck, or could you take a look at this deck? Like, he's very interactive, very willing to instruct, to give advice, and he himself, of course, being a top-level player, it's worth a lot. So if you want some of that interaction, I do stream. I'm trying to do it more often, but it's hard. I have a kind of a dynamic work schedule in that regard, where I don't know. I mean, usually I have some advance notice, but it's not a lot, and I travel, you know, for between a day and 4 days at a time, randomly. So it's really hard for me to commit to a streaming schedule, at least during the week. So for now, he'll do that, and I'm trying to get Argyle on his merry way, trying to finally beat Skyrim. It's taken me, I don't know how many years, and at least 15 to 20 starts. And I'd just really like to be able to say I beat the game. But I'll be honest with you, part of the problem is I don't care about the main campaign. Like, the story, that story to me is not terribly compelling. I just enjoy going around, finding fights, picking up cool stuff, crafting things.
I smell the stench,
you know, doing the side quests, leveling up. That's the draw for me. The main storyline, the whole... I don't even know. Well, so I guess you got your primary storyline, which is Alduin, which that, I guess, kind of does interest me. I remember fighting Marak at some point, so I guess I got pretty far in that, or at least as far as the DLC goes. Caribre. I believe this Jack of Trades I have fought in the past myself. The name seems familiar, but clearly he is running a item battle mage, and he's probably pondering whether he wants to throw a steel sword onto his reclaimer. He does.
Let's put
By the gatekeeper and Fluffy Fries, not in the worst place, because Caribre isn't putting a lot of pressure on. Okay, just kidding. Just kidding.
If it wasn't
There's a lot of pressure.
They wouldn't lock it up.
And Fluffy Fries with a Soul Tear. Now, Odor and Necromancer is great, but Dawn's Wrath is better. Dawn's Wrath is better. I was just saying, as general principle. Oh, hey, that's great too. But as general principle, I'm betting Puppers is going to get slain. Cicero, stop eyeing that dog. I know it looks like it's dead already, but that doesn't mean you. Oh, she's gonna silence Cicero. Wow. And I've said it before, I gotta remind myself, much easier to remind myself as an observer than as a player, because normally I clench up and go, really? You got 3 cards and one of them's a freaking bone bow? Are you kidding me? You needed a silence for that? And now here's the good news though. Undying Dragon, the top deck, that is probably going to be, Caribre is probably now going, dang it! Unless he's got another bone bow. But we gotta remember, a lot of times higher players hold on to things like bone bow, silence, whatever it is, key things, removal, until they have no other recourse, or until it's getting really dire. And it's really dire right now for Caribre, and I think he's seeing the writing on the wall with that.
All right, here. Try this on
Dragon and with Soul Tear. So essentially he can hit, sacrifice it, bring it back, and I think that will prompt a GG from Caribre. Okay. Fluffy Fry says, no! I'm going to keep my Dargan alive. Probably a Necromancer this turn. Just kidding. See? Again, I would be like, hey, I got the Magicka. I'm sure there's something cool I could come up with, but it's like, no. Even at a loss, or even at a disadvantage like this, he's still...
All right, here. Try this on for size.
And that amulet.
We'll use any tool to defend the reach.
Now, see, that's the thing. I wanted to do an item deck and bring, because I never see this guy played. Ever. And the thing is, he can snowball big time because, you throw weapons on him, make him bigger, and then you can pull you know, higher tier weapons. So as long as you've got like 1 through 5 or 0 through 5 weapons in your deck, you know, he can be able to pull. You know, you've got a pretty good chance as soon as you give him a weapon, he's going to be able to draw you another one, and that could just be in perpetuity. I think, right? Oh no, if you pill first. I don't know what I was thinking. Fluffy Fries, slow and sturdy. That's how Spell Sword should be. It's great that he's developed a philosophy for Spell Sword, because Spell Sword really, the only Spell Sword you used to see for a while there was just to enable factotums and or Dwemer. Like that was, if you ever saw Spell Sword for like, I don't know, I think it was almost like a year, you could bet you believe it was going to be mostly neutral with a bit of Spell Sword in there for flavoring and to give them like some removal and some key cards. But we are joining D13 in casual. D13, top 10 player, top 10 card back, as you see there. Samaka? I think the K is silent, right? Okay, we're going to see something spicy. So I don't think this is necessarily a friendly match, but it looks like they're both trying some stuff out.
It just heals and rejuvenates.
A hand buff deck on Samaka's side, and looks like just a ramp for D13.
There's nowhere they can hide. The hunter
Samaka says, "No, sir," because that would have been very dangerous. He could have played Pure Blood Elder next turn or this turn had he been able to hit with his distiller. That distiller's no joke. You know, I remember the first time I was up against it. I read the text on the card. I knew what the card said, but I was thinking, nah, as long as they can't slay me, it's not that big of a deal. 3 Magicka Burst in 1 turn. That's a big deal. At the moment I saw a freaking Blood Magic Lord come down on turns 5 or 6, I was like, oh, that's why Distiller needs to be thwarted, because it doesn't matter if it can slay or not. Half the time, that's not what they're looking to do. In a slay deck, sure, but I don't know why I'm throwing extra syllables into my verbiage here. All right, so Samaka, very lucky that he's playing against a deck that does not have curses or executes. That 1/6 looks like it's going to stick around for at least a turn. Obviously the whatever the heck this vampire, Pure Blood Elder.
Stranger.
There's nowhere they can hide. The hunter.
Wow.
The hunted.
Well, just so you know, it was a guard. It was not trying to hide.
Can allow.
I know that's way too deep, and I would never suggest it. But I mean, considering, well, I don't know. Voice actors, at least for video games or something like this, I believe they're paid by the line. So, you know, it wouldn't make sense for Bethesda to fork out the extra money just for that. But I was thinking if they could make the voice lines contextual, you know, where, you know, if I mean it wouldn't work because the line comes down before, like when the card hits the board, so it wouldn't. Like there's not enough time. There's not enough time for it to make a contextually accurate. Like, in other words, there's nowhere you can hide. Doesn't work when you're attacking a guard, but the game's not going to know you're attacking the guard until you attack the guard. And is that no? I mean, he's got Giant Bat, but that's not enough. So unless Samaka is going to play the Chanter, which in a hand buff deck is a thing. Chanter is a thing in hand buff. It's a big thing. It is the bane of my existence. Anytime I'm up against a Redoran, I'm just expecting Chanter. Does not have it, or it's not enough to make a difference. Well done, D13. Ugnip Friends up against Siggy Jackson, the Emperor. And we aren't very far in, but Siggy has already burned through a ton of cards, sitting there with only 3 and nothing on the board. Ugnip, I believe. Sorry. You ever do that? You get that little bit of skin on your thumb that like comes up just because it just, I don't know, pulls up and you try to pull it so it doesn't catch on anything and you end up just start bleeding. Anyway, that's probably too violent for folks, but
The hiss shall heal you.
Yeah, Fluffy Fries, I mean, Spell Sword is often overlooked. Oh, goodness gracious. And has been overlooked. I would say that's always been probably the most overlooked color combo. I just remember players, the players in the know, the players that, the streamers and stuff would be saying, it's just all around, it's just an inferior deck. Every other deck can do what it does better. Is the usual thing you hear. But it's amazing, Empire is a big deal now, and all it took to make Spell Sword amazing was adding another attribute. But we've seen Fluffy Fries 2 wins with Spell Sword, so don't count it out. Like it says, a lot of great cards in that color combo. Ugnip, I think I spectated you with, decisive victory. Well done.
This episode is sponsored in small part by the Legendary Remnant Discord. I love playing TESL, but I just don't have any friends to play with. You should totally come to the Legendary Remnant Discord. What's that? Well, it's a Discord where the remnants of the legendary game Elder Scrolls Legends come together to talk about the game, to challenge each other in many different ways. It's a heck of a lot of fun. That does sound like a lot of fun. This is not creepy at all. I think we should continue this in perpetuity. No, I'm pretty sure we should stop right now, but join the Discord anyway. Okay, sorry about that. I never know where these things are going to go when I start, and I don't really much care, because all I want to say is, check out the Discord. It's just a good thing. It was suggested that I kind of include that in these things, and I think it's worth mentioning, because a lot of folks do find friends and find a lot of good stuff. Mixing things up in the Discord is a great place. Anyway, the real sponsor of this video is Battle Mage's Stance, from the brilliant mind of, you guessed it, Vincenzo. We do have other people that make cards. I'm just kind of going in the list, and if you do go to the Discord and you try to check out the list, you will have to scroll up for like an hour and a half to get up to where we are. There is so many cards. So there's some dialogue, but it's just a lot of cards. Vincenzo is definitely a heavy contributor, but there's a lot from a lot of other folks as well. It just so happens there was a spat where Vincenzo just went crazy with inspiration and just put a whole bunch out there. So I think like the next 6 cards we got are from him as well. If you kind of want to jump the line or something, and you want to send me something, like Eye of the Restless Storm sent me something. Now he just didn't know, where in the order it wasn't sure where I was pulling the cards from. So, I know there's no intention there, but if you do have something you want me to check out or want to address online, feel free to put it out there, and I'm happy to mix things up. I'm going in order just because otherwise I figure I'm afraid I'm gonna like lose track of, what cards I've already done and not done. So I figure just going in order is easy, but if I throw one into the mix that isn't on that list already, it's totally fine. Anyway, focusing in here on what we got from Vincenzo, it is the 3 cost in Battle Mage. It's an action. Battle Mage's Stance. Draw an action and an item that costs 2 or less from your deck. Now, this is a crazy OP card, I think. Only because in Battle Mage, you've got your Cloak and Dagger at 1 cost. You've got your Scimitar at 1 cost. You've got your whatchamacallit? You've got your the Breakthrough, whatever, the 2/1 Bone Bow. Is that 3? Or is that 2? I feel like that can't be 2, right? If Bone Bow's 2, this is definitely whack. There's no way. I'm going to take a quick look. It is a 2 cost. No way. That's crazy. So, in other cards, this may not be a big deal, or other attributes, but for Battle Mage, there are so many. This is, well, okay, hang on. We do have the Crucible Blacksmith, which is a 0/1, so she's a body. There's a body, technically, but not a very good one, that draws an item from your deck of any cost. And she's a 2-drop. I'm not sure about the value here, because like I said, that's a lot of different options you can have. And so it's an action and an item. So then you've also got your choice of Firebolt, Ice Spike. I'm trying to think of other big ones. Is Salvage? Is that a 2 cost? I think that's higher. Oh, gosh darn it. I need to do a little more prep, but I'm lazy. I'm pretty sure it's a 2 cost. I just can't remember the name of it. It's a 2 cost, and it puts 2 random items into your Plunder, that's it. Doggone it. Plunder is a 2-drop as well. So, man, and that's an action. So this may be the first time that Vincenzo has put out a card that is maybe undercosted a little bit. I think for 4 you could still consider it a good value. Not necessarily because the items themselves are worth that, or the action themselves are worth that, but because I mean, in these colors, those weapons are, I think, their values. Even though they're not, a lot of them aren't legendaries or anything, a lot of them have great value, and there's a lot of versatility in there. And as much as I would love this for, I mean, can you imagine this in a expertise deck? Hey, pull an item and an action, and by the way, this is also an action itself. I mean, that's 3, count them, 3 triggers for expertise in a tight little 3 cost. So, I don't know. Y'all can let me know if you think that it's too much value. I like it as an expertise lover. I like it very much, but I don't know if that's really fair. I do like the artwork. It looks fantastic. It looks like this is like an alternate art. This was an art that was proposed and just never used. It looks very much like a Red Guard gal there. Got the nice flame effect going. Probably look like an amazing legendary. But yeah, so I think the card looks great as it is. I think it is in the right colors. I just don't know if that's too. I mean, and then you've got, you can proc your 0 cost improvised weapon. It really opens things up. And the fact that it's action and an item, whereas the Crucible Blacksmith is just an item, I think that maybe makes this maybe a 4. But then 5 cost is your Battle Mage. It's the 5 cost that puts a random action item and creature in your hand. So maybe 3 is actually perfectly balanced. I don't know, but I like it. Like I said, as an expertise player, I like it a lot. I don't know if that's just too much value or what, but like the card. Vincenzo, thanks so much for putting it up for consideration. Once again, putting my brain through its paces. If y'all have any questions or comments about it as well, love to hear them. Love to discuss it. And and otherwise, let's go ahead and get back to the game.
We are rejoining Time Twist NPO up against Grande Zohan 1, the Lich. Time Twist now in the top 80. Was in the top 70, but it doesn't take much, and this game can really, we've seen, I think, especially through like K Fluffy, I believe, when I watched him play, you can lose ranks in this game. If you're high enough, you can lose ranks even when you win. So the game puts you up against somebody who's in the Thief, you beat them, and you still go down 5 ranks. It's crazy. So I don't know what Time Twist has been up to since we last spectated, but I was hoping to see him kick some butt this time, and he may very well do just that. But he is facing
One strike will be all that is needed.
a healthy amount of damage this turn. And even if he does pop the ward on that Corrupted Shade, ooh, I think Grande Zohan has this one as well. Man,
Let's put these
just some days, some days you just realize the game is not going to go your way. Because again, Time Twist is a fantastic player. That's why, I when I queue in, I expect to see a win. But it just goes to show something I mentioned earlier. It's there's no guarantee, and it really is. If you're a great player overall, you are going to. You're going to prevail, but you got to persevere. And also, if you didn't see, I had a quick conversation with D13. Played the game quite a bit when it first came out. Had a very long hiatus. He was playing Ramp Scout back when that was like, as I said, the cat's pajamas, because it really was. If you're going to play a control deck, it was Scout, and most of the time it was Ramp Scout. And it was very dangerous. It was the first. It was the deck that taught me that I hated control.
Don't count me out yet.
And I don't hate it, but
A hard-fought victory.
oh, I thought he was gonna defensive rumor, but he can't afford it.
The victory is yours.
Heck yeah, we got Eros at the start of another game. There's about 3 or 4 folks in circulation right now, and I'm trying to dance between them. Also, kind of having some conversations with some folks that I just kind of have started to get to know, like Ugnip and D13. But yeah, like I was saying, D13. Oh, that's kind of the point that I was leading to. D13 is coming back after having been away from the game, and he made top 10 with a scout deck, not a scout deck, a Sorcerer deck. I didn't ask him what the list was or what exactly how he pulled it off, but he made top 10 after being away. And here's the thing. This is the other key thing. He is still grinding to get the gold in order to buy the cards you get from playing the story. Like, he's trying to catch up on that whole thing, so his collection is very tiny. And yet he still got top 5. So it's not about the resources necessarily. It's about how you use them. You could be like somebody like me who has access to almost all the cards at this point and still puts together a middling, if not horrible, deck. And Legolas 78, yes, must be making his shopping list. Seems to be a reasonable thing. And I guess Salvani, the followers of Chewbacca are definitely a bit of a hard counter. Holy cow! I did not see what transpired to make that a 4-7, but that is some heavy, heavy ramp. Holy cow! Oh, jeez! Wow. All right, so we didn't get to see much of a game with Eros last time. By the way, Galen. I guess that's his name. I want to say Galen. That's what I've always said, but I don't think that's the way it's pronounced. Anyway, that guy, that's how he got the 4-7. So yeah, he Galened it and then got it back immediately. And he does not want to see Forces of Destruction. That is a card he wants to get off of his Siege. So for the second time, we have seen him draw a high value card. You'd think this was Brave Caryad playing for the amount of times he gets this card too early. That's kind of her modus operandi. She plays a big card. She always gets it in the first, like, 3 turns. Even if she mulligans it away, it always comes back. What's that here? Cool tidbit for my viewers. Okay. Eros is going to lay down a cool tidbit. Oh, what did he just... Oh, Oberon. Oberon. So many folks are mixing it up, man. So many folks are playing it different. We saw Fluffy Fries using Midnight Burial for something other than bringing back OP dragons that have no business being in non-dragon decks. And you're still clinging to the old ways, man. Just turn it around. Play something fresh. Take a whiff of inspiration.
Luck to your house.
Oh, don't say that after you just... I swear, if he's got to reanimate somewhere in here... Okay, and part of that's my fault. Eros is talking to me. Let's see. Forces of Destruction with only 2 spots on board will always pull Dremora Martinez. Yes, which doubles attack and hit power of creature. Paired with Swift Strike and Betray on the board, Poop ends the game in a heartbeat. Yes, that is the combo, and that's why...
The hist shall heal you.
I mean, I guess... with 2 spots.
What have we here?
I think he means with 2... Okay, we'll see. I know what he's saying, because it is one of the amazing things about this deck. It can really lead to some craziness. I don't know that I've witnessed it. I've witnessed part of it, but not all of it. Or I've seen it in part, but so I don't know if... I thought he wants Forces of Destruction in the deck. That's what I thought he wanted. But maybe he can make it work with it not in the deck and still siege into something cool. But yeah, it draws the Strength Guard is 5/5 and he doubles a creature's attack health. And of course, as he said, Swift Strike. So there's a lot of elements, but they got to come together just so. And we are hoping to just see that. I joked with D13. I said, because he was just saying, he's just trying to build that deck. Like I said, it's not about having the resources necessarily. It's about how you use them. So he's got, he can barely put together a 2-attribute deck, let alone a 3-attribute deck. So he's really grinding it out. I did recommend that he tries the competitions, because if you can, on the weekends, especially every other week, the big ones, the 6-ticket ones, I mean, it's... Oh, well, here we go. Here we got stuff's happening. And Eros doesn't even have his back against the wall. He's just... This is just gravy right now. Mushroom Tower. Oberon might just concede. If he had more cards, I could see him maybe sticking around, but I think I would be hard put if I saw that happening.
Shall we put in a dishonest stage where...
There's really not a lot of ways to come back from something like this. I don't think there's anything. Maybe Lyneth? Yep. And he's gonna. Can he pull back a siege, or what's he gonna pull back here? See, this is. I'm just not at that level. Swift Strike. There it is. And he's gonna do it again. So that's how we get. Remember, I said that's a lot of elements you got to pull together. He's showing us this is how you pull them together. This is how you pull them together. Now we can Abner for... I mean, but he doesn't need it. That's the only bummer about it. He really does not need anything super fancy to end this game right now. There's Alduin. For a brief moment, I felt sorry for Oberon. For a brief moment. I guess Abner could do it, right? Nice. Ooh, hey, Ross. That's spicy. Oh, wow. Couldn't even let him finish. All right, and we are getting to see Mark. Mark. Have not seen him in a long time. He's been around the channel for quite some time, pretty much since the inception. He and C-City actually were the first two fellows to kind of give me actually in-game feedback. I got some encouragement from, I can't remember his name now, Zorro. Really nice guy. And he was like, hey man, I'll keep watching as long as you keep playing. I was like, cool. So I remember getting encouragement from him, but Mark and C-City were the first ones to be like, hey, you know, here's a thought about playing this deck, or, you know, it was just a really nice way, but it was, again, very respectful. It wasn't like, oh, hey, you know, what are you doing, you dummy? It was all done in good spirits and in good faith, or, you know, with the intention of kind of helping me out. And yeah, so I don't get to see him as much. I think I used to see him once or twice every time I would get on, but I guess life has changed a little bit. And boy, oh boy, is that going to be a heck of a rage, especially if Elizabeth doesn't have to play anything else. We'll see if Mark actually does it. That's something I would do. He might just go Dark Seducer. And with that, Elizabeth might concede because Burst Assassin, which seems to be more or less what this is, there we go, is easily thwarted by Drain. Because they have no way to keep, I mean, obviously a lot of them have draw engines in them, but it's not enough if you've got a way to keep draining.
You're so sweet, I could just eat you up.
And she will consume that sweet roll, and I think we'll see Elizabeth conceding in the near future. Almost out of cards. Mark back up to 30 health.
Careful there.
Now, of course, Elizabeth doesn't know that he's got Dark Seducer in his hand, but I mean that's I mean, so what we're seeing here now. Granted, you never know because of how draws go, and there's the draw. We know that is a thing. You know, obviously, if you have a bad draw, it's going to make your deck look bad. Okay, there we go. There we got the concession. Well done, Mark. All right, jumping into it with Guitarist on base. All right, so we've covered some distance here, but we're on turn 5. Both opponents still almost at 30. I mean, Black Forini, Black guy.
The hist heals and rejuvenates.
I'm not sure. I guess Black. We'll just call him Black. Black, the hero of the people, Empire. Looks like more or less prototypical Empire deck. Trying to ramp into that late game, that sweet new era and whatnot and what have yous. Getting the sleigh on the 3/5, a very fortuitous draw to have in hand because that guy was gonna regenerate. So Guitars on base playing what I would consider a relatively spicy list here. Marauder Chieftain, always happy to see that. That particular card. And he can buff up that fellow if he lives. He can buff him up with his Marauder Chieftain, and that's going to let him ramp for a bit more. Or Stendarr's Hammer, actually. Stendarr's Hammer is going to be amazing right here. Are we going to see a Stendarr's Hammer? Wait, it doubles the power, right? Yeah, okay, that's not exactly what we want. That would get him to a whopping 2/4. For some reason, I thought that was like a force multiplier. I mean, it is, but a better one than that. And what is this, Dragon's Camp? Giant's Camp, that's what I meant. Start your turn. Yep. Most powerful creature. Alright, so as long as that 7/3 sticks, well, looks like everything's going to get cleaned out pretty much.
Go no further.
No doubt Black has something to put onto his
If
distiller.
I can't steal it,
No?
it can't be stolen.
Yep. Just enough. Wow, that's a great
The hist heals and
great combo for
rejuvenates.
Black. Great play. And unfortunately, I mean, yeah, that man. I see what Guitarist is doing, and I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun. I just don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off. This is a formidable board, and he's really got no way to take care of Sail Through Storms. I guess Determined Supplier is a bit of a... Oh! He is not going to stop Black from hitting him in the face. So this is one of those cases where, well, he's got all the Magicka, but not really a whole lot of cards, so he could pretty much play everything he wants in his hand right now anyway. Although, that just nipped my philosophy in the bud.
Sail Through Storms does it again.
Please help me.
Ooh, Dark Seducer's gonna be nice. I have a feeling Black is going to be able to counter it, just because that seems to be the way this game is going. But
What have we here?
Black, see, that's something that I would do. Now I'm not calling Black out on this, but I would do it because I'm like, hey, let me just get rid of that and do whatever. Not thinking, or not planning ahead and going, you know what, I can let that 1/4 live. It's not that important. I'm going to hold on and remove. So either Black made a mistake, or we're going to see another bit of removal. He used that because he's already got plenty. Although this is a top deck right here. If he plays this one on the far left or our far right. Okay, nope. Alright, so he does get the Slay, but now Guitarist is back up to 30.
That will keep this one out.
And that's a pretty low creature.
My scales move in shadow. There is life in this machine.
Okay, interesting. So Black does have some... Well, I mean, we've already seen he has a pretty unique build as well for Empire.
I stand with weapons ready.
And I'm thrown off because I did so much talking here. I don't know exactly how long this session is. We've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes.
I am the
But
shield
I
of
don't know. I don't know how much of that is actually games and how much of that is me
Sail Through Storms
typing
does it
furiously
heals and
with my
rejuvenates.
comrades.
So much for
I did want to do the stream today, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Another squish. And Black really getting a ton of mileage out of his distillers. They've just really been aces. And does he got all 3 of them? Wait. He's got 3. That's 4. Oh, because that's the one he Galened. So yeah, Guitarist is getting the raw end of the stick here, that's for sure. And Stendar's Hammer. It's a card you don't see very often. Probably pairs great with Breakthrough. Oh, definitely pairs great with Breakthrough because you can attack with it, but he just needs to get a creature of decent power. So you see, oh, and that's a heck of a top deck for Black. Oh boy. Sorry, Guitarist. I'm probably going to watch one more game because I want to see his deck do some stuff. It looks like it's got a lot of potential. A lot of potential. Yeah. You were not going to be allowed to win that game, my friend. That's...
is a fine
Really?
killer.
A little more class. When the game actually gives you the win with... whatever. Good game, Guitarist. Alright, we're going to take another look with Mark just because, like I said, I don't get to see him very often. So I want to take a look, and it looks like he is running a... Well, I think it's kind of a dragon-y deck. I mean, but Mulamir, he actually finds his way into a lot of decks. He's got some great versatility and is a good value for what he can do. And I think for a control deck especially, I mean, he's essentially kind of like a Fingers of the Mountain with a body, more or less. And unfortunately, he has come up against Invade, but he does have an Execute standing by. And let's just hope he can hold out the forces of darkness. Mark has been, as you can see, he's got the top 100 card back. and I think he's finished there many, many times. And I've seen him finish in the top 20. But he is just really wanting to get top 10. And it has been evasive from him so far. But I think he can do it. It's just really comes down to, I think for top 10, you got to be good, but you also have to have the time. Because you've got to be able to stay. You've got to be able to stay at the top, and that's a very difficult thing to do. Radopia. Radopia. I have played in the past, and I will again. But right now, I am actually just... I don't know. I just feel like I do a little bit of a disservice to folks watching me play, because one, like I said, I'm not at the top tier of a lot of the people that we're spectating. Nowhere near that level. So you're not quite getting that level of gameplay. But as I think I'm discovering with that alternate account, I probably lose about 10 to 15% of my brain power when I'm doing this. So either I'm not really talking at all and I'm just muttering to myself and pulling at my bottom lip and really not engaging, really not saying much at all because I'm focused on what I'm doing, or I'm doing what I normally do and my gameplay is, like I said, probably about 10 to 15% worse. My decisions, I make more mistakes and less great choices when I'm playing. So but I mean, that said, we still did get to Legend. And that's a narrative I'll probably want to pick up again at some point. But we do have like the tournament coming up, so I'm also keeping my eye out for folks that are doing. But by the way, just a reminder, we do have the competition/tournament for the month of May. It'll end on the 20th. That's when the tournament will be. The tournament's on the 27th, I believe. It's a Saturday following the end of the tournament, because I got to be able to sort through all the games that are submitted, find out who the top 8 are, and then we have that tournament on that Saturday. But the competition is going on, which is pretty much just 5 games where you are shredding for the bread. Shred for the bread. You're trying to use Soul Shred with the most effective deck you possibly can. Just bear in mind that both for the qualification for the tournament and also when Tusk Shadows, whose idea it was to put this on, when he's looking at the top performers, the number of cards, not the number of pings. The pings hitting face are what allow you to burn cards, but you get multipliers of 1, 2, and 3 depending on the number of attributes in the deck. So you doing a burn on a 3 attribute deck is going to net you more points and a higher score than if you do it against a mono deck. Very rarely do we see monos, but it's a crapshoot whether you get a 3 attribute or 2 attribute that you're against. The good news is you don't have to win, you just have to be able to shred. So it makes it a little bit easier, but that is still something to consider. And Mark, we're seeing here, this is Mark with the patience of Job, just kind of waiting out. I mean, now Politanechi has plenty of ingredients, the pastry chef does, and we're Invasion Party. I hate you so much, Invasion Party! It's so misnamed, it's not a party. Nobody wants to go to your stupid party, Invasion. But that's, man, and that is the crux. I think if you took that card out,
I will devour your soul, mortal.
It's not 100%. Oh, this is a great time for Millimir to show up. Look at that. You got all that health? I could just do this all day, he seems to say. And now he's got 9 damage he's got to burn some removal on. Nicely done. Nicely done. Interesting to see a Mark running a Garnag as well. That's interesting. That's usually exclusively an aggro card. I mean, I don't necessarily think we'll see it played anytime soon. The good thing about Garnag, though, if you're a control deck, is you play it at the tail end of your turn, So Mark would have 13 Magicka to work with, so he gets to play Garnag, or 9 cost worth of cards, and then Garnag, and his opponent is only going to be able to play 7 Magicka worth. So it's when you're building a board, I mean, I can see how it could be useful in that regard. And even if Garnag is removed that next turn or silenced, the opponent still only has that 7 Magicka to work with. So it's a one-turn kind of advantage. 9 as for Mark, who's now at 14, it is a one-turn 10 Magicka advantage. So I guess I see it, but it's just you don't see it very often. So kudos to Mark for including it in here. I think if you're racing in a very slow way another control deck, I think that could really give you the edge for that one turn. That's actually really, really brilliant. At least it seems to me. Maybe some of you control players are going, that's just dumb. But I think it actually has a great deal of merit. But used only in certain situations. Otherwise you'll hamstring yourself. Because if your opponent doesn't remove it or silence it, then your next turn you're stuck with 7. And yeah. You'll never lose that one turn of advantage that you had.
We must protect our stronghold.
The douche. Shall ping you in once again. Gatekeeper. It looks like the Gatekeeper is wearing a giant brown diaper with a strap on it. I see that every time. It's just his shorts are so puffy. They just look like diapers. I guess for him they would be Depends. And I mean, you can't blame him. You see, one of his hands is not exactly conducive to good hygiene practices. Could be very painful, in fact. So I would think a diaper is probably the safer way to go for the Gatekeeper. But regardless, he is in a better place now. Probably not guarding the pearly gates, but who knows? Maybe he was pursuing righteousness this whole time. Of course, depending on your bent, the pursuit of that doesn't necessarily make or break. But let's not get into that philosophy at the moment. We're trying to keep it light and fluffy. Ooh. So I'll give it to Tenchi. Definitely playing more than just. This is the second time we've seen an invade deck that is running a lot more non-invade than invade. There's still enough to make it a little stenchy, But I do like I said, that there's got to be. I believe that there is a balance and a way to play invade without it being broken, and I think we're seeing some players figure that out. It still stinks because people, like me, or it's going to take us a little bit of time to go, okay, this is a deck that's not relying on the keyword thing. It just happens to feature that as a thing, just like expertise. When I've run an expertise deck, I don't rely on expertise to win me the game. I've got other cards that I play, to give me that. The expertise is just kind of it's my spice. It kind of stirs things up a little bit, but it's not what I'm cooking with. And that's why I get kind of irked with decks that are solely comprised of particular key cards. And Mark makes Tenchi blink first. No, he doesn't. Duh, he's already broken 2 runes. Oh, gosh. All right, this will be the last game because I'm going cross-eyed, which stinks because, man, people are playing a heck of a lot right now. But I'm going to need to... Probably won't get to stream today. I don't know. I might be able to. We'll see. But at the moment, I don't know that that's going to be a possibility. But we shall see.
I will put them back.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're now. I almost completely forgot that Polo was running invade. Oh, that's a great late game piece to find. I'm gonna. Okay, so I'll have to let D13 know. If you watch this, D13, obviously you'll hear my explanation, but just a reminder to anybody who is new to the channel, new to watching these games, I try to keep as best as I can, particularly if it's the person I'm that's who I'm actually watching play, I might interact a little bit if I have to, but I try to keep the board as clean as possible. I really wish there was a way that I could move the chat over into another monitor so that you can still watch it. But if I do that, then I lose the audio from here, so it's kind of a rough go of it. But just for reference, I'm not ignoring you. If I don't respond, it's literally that I just don't have the. All right, so Dawn's Wrath seems to be the logical play here. Although he could Garnag into Unstoppable Rage, but it would be a sad rage. He still has that. Oh no, wait, because I think Garnag knocks you down to 7 Magicka as soon as he's played, so I don't think you can play Garnag into Rage. I'm fairly certain you cannot do that. I think I tried that once. And there's no way around it. You can't ramp, you can't do it. No matter what, your Magicka is topped off at 7. Complete a contract, not going to get you there. Break the ring, not going to get you there. You can only play 7 Magicka, which is crazy. And Mark, using his Mana Marco, his name's in the name of the guy, Mana Marco. For a very humble draw, or a humble card, but it is draw power that he desperately needs right now. Not a whole lot of great options, although Mark may consider doing what Fluffy Fries 99 was doing, which is the Midnight Burial and Venom Brigand Venom, whatever the guy is, the 3/4 that draws. I mean,
believers shall flock to our noble cause.
When you do that, as we saw, it's essentially a new start or fresh start with a body, and you can keep pulling on it. As soon as you draw another Brigand, you get to draw 3 more cards, or 6 more cards, 20 more cards, however many you put in the graveyard. So Mark really trying to decide if he wants to make his push there, risk giving his nemesis some cards, because he can only get him down to 16. And with the Chanter on board and no way to remove him at the moment. Alright, so Mark does take the risk. Oh, never mind. He wasn't going to break another rune anyway. I'm curious what he's debating. I'm thinking Emperor's Blade, Tyr, and then Garnag. Don't play Garnag first. Don't play Garnag first. I think his effect takes place immediately. Play your other guys. Play Tyr and Emperor, and then Garnag. Because unless he's got Red Gear, that's probably going to be game. Oh, and it doesn't matter. He can't play Red Gear. That's game. He can't even play. Come on, do it.
We must
no, not first. Not first.
Mother.
No. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. He's only playing 1 less card than he would have otherwise. But you see, it happens as soon as he hits the board. It's not something that takes place next turn. So he does. Well, no, he can't play. He won't be able to play Rage next turn anyway. But now Polo only has 7 Magicka to combat this board, and he has the exact card that he needs to do it. Although Unstoppable Rage he can't play Unstoppable Rage. Oh yes, he can, because Garnag's on his hand. So, okay, gonna heal up. Yep, if that Javelin hadn't come down, he might have been in some dire shape. So, Tyr and then Garnag, or Garnag then Tyr. Okay, he's gonna hold it open, because I guess Polo could have Immolating Blast, which would sting. And we are reminded that this is indeed. But like I said, this has not been a deck that has leaned into Invade as a crutch. It has just incorporated it into the game. But we are also seeing, now granted, it could be the draw, it could be, obviously we can't ignore the fact that Mark is a great player, fantastic player, and has been drawing very well. Good game, Mark. Good game. Way to finish it off. And that's going to do it for today's video. Just a quick reminder of a few things. First, we still have folks like Tiago the Blacksmith, just Tiago actually, whose link is in the description, who plays TESL. I know he hasn't had a chance to play it as much. I'm not sure exactly how many new games he has, but keep an eye out for new releases from him. Also, Vincenzo, whose link is also in the description, also plays the game. He has just expanded his family recently, so he is probably temporarily not going to be playing as much. But if you like more content, I would subscribe to that because he comes out with videos a little more sporadically at the moment, but certainly something worth watching. He's a top level player. And yes, as I mentioned, I believe earlier, there is the tournament / competition going on with the Shred for the Bread. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments. You can personally message me. If you check out the Discord, which the link is in the description, of course, then your all questions will be answered. But anyway, thank you for watching regardless. And thank you for all of those who played and made such a great, I want to say spectacle, but that has a negative connotation. It sounds, I'm not saying you are a spectacle, but that provided a spectacle of amazement for us to watch. Okay, you know what I mean. It's a good thing. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing more. But until then, keep playing.